Just a reminder before we start this video that we are hosting a giveaway on my Discord this week to celebrate my turning 21, so if you are interested in entering into the draw to win one of two $25 Steam gift cards, all you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, come join my Discord, link in the description, and follow the instructions in the giveaways channel there. The winner will be announced on Saturday the 26th, so get those entries in quick, lads.
Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to War Thunder. No, fuck it, leave it on. Welcome back to War Thunder with Koala, and today we're getting a Premium Abrams. It started in the early 1970s, at the height of the Cold War and the arms race.
Okay, I'm going to stop that immediately, we're going to keep going. It started in the early 1970s, at the height of the Cold War and the arms race. After the joint German-American project to create the MBT-70 main battle tank was closed, and the new all-American Xm1 project was deemed an insufficient and too expensive response to the newest Soviet developments, the US Department of Defense developed a new list of requirements for the future main battle tank. Two engineering giants joined the contest, the Chrysler and General Motors companies. Both contestants decided to use developments for the MBT-70 and Xm1 to design a new tank. Many corrections and additions were made to the tactical and technical requirements of the American government, first and foremost on the defensive characteristics of the future main battle tank. The requirements for the tank's armour and survivability increased along with its maintainability in the field. In addition, the Arab-Israeli conflict showed that a modern tank must have the ability to effectively destroy armoured targets at long distances, including with kinetic shells, and also have a sufficiently large complement of shells. In spite of the changes and additions to the technical specification, the contestants managed to achieve their goals, and by 1976 they presented their developments, the experimental prototypes of the Xm1 tank, for testing. Both vehicles were outwardly very similar with practically identical dimensions. They were alike in their layouts and used the same 105mm M68 rifled gun. Both tanks turned out very well. Which prototype did the military choose, and why? Yeah, I'm going right off of Gaijin's website for this one. The Xm1 GM, the contest model from General Motors, became a further development of ideas and technological solutions for the MBT-70 and Xm1 projects, including the diesel powertrain and mixed undercarriage with 6 roller wheels per side, 3 with hydraulic suspension and 3 with torsion bar suspension. The competitor to General Motors, the Chrysler company, used their Xm1 C model to present not only a progressive gas turbine engine, but also a brand new undercarriage with 7 independent roller wheels on each side with individual torsion bar suspension. In addition, the Chrysler engineers were able to save funds on constructing the tank by optimizing the components of the aiming equipment and the gun stabilization system. Now that's why the Americans went with the Chrysler company, it was cheaper. These details played a decisive role in the selection of the contractor to make the Xm1 project a reality. In spite of the fact that numerous flaws and teething problems arose during the project, the prototype for the USA's next generation main battle tank was confirmed. After several cycles of correcting issues and modernizing the prototype Xm1 C, the first vehicles began to be deployed under the designation M1 Abrams. So we're all getting access to Puppet Abrams in one form or another, but what are the differences? Well, effectively, none. The tanks have the same horsepower and weight and therefore go the same speed, 75 km per hour. Yes, that's faster than the M1 itself. They will fire the same shells, I'm sure, probably all the same shells fired by the M60A1 Rise P, whose gun is shared by both designs. The only difference will be in the engine. The Chrysler design will have the same gas turbine whine as the M1 and 9.7, and the General Motors design will feature a more conventional diesel engine with the sound we're used to from 100 tanks before it. The armour should be just about identical, however the General Motors Xm1 looks as if it will likely bounce more shells off its angled turret cheeks, while the Xm1 C has a flattened portion around the gun. Incidentally, this is where everyone shoots at Abrams. That means I'm seeing the General Motors design actually being more effective in game, despite being the design that was initially refused by the US in real life, which is very interesting. In War Thunder's Update 1.79, PC and PS4 players will be able to buy themselves the General Motors designed Xm1 prototype, which would later be rejected in favour of the Proto Abrams designed by the Chrysler company. Unless you're an Xbone player, yes, they're coming, get ready to club some console noobs. If you are an Xbone player, you don't get the second best General Motors Xm1, no, you get the proper Chrysler design, all to your console peasant selves. I kid, lads, I kid. I welcome all to this game, at least we'll get the player numbers up. This latest devlog announced the Xm1 a mere 5 minutes after announcing the Centurion AVRE British Rank 5 Premium tank. Anyone's best guess why they did that so conveniently, hope you still want that Centurion.
The pack will cost $50 and come with over 2 weeks of premium account time, 2,000 golden eagles, and a unique decoration, decal, and title. An Abrams. Premium. Holy hell, lads. Will this thing be below battle rating 8.3? It'll have to be, won't it? We don't see premiums that high. I'm sure it won't be 7.7 like our previous highest battle rating premiums. 8.0 minimum. This puts it at the battle rating of the T95E1, Chieftain Mark III, and T62. It's an Abrams. God, Gaijin, this is a weird move. The tank must surely be 8.0. I mean, the Object 120 to RAM was originally 8.0, and that was before we had 9.0 tanks, let alone 9.7s. Cough, please move it back up there now. Perhaps this will be our very first 8.3 premium, and if so, that opens up some interesting doors for other nations. Now, these tanks will perform almost identically to each other in-game, so don't feel bad about whichever Proto Abrams you miss out on, but man, you can tell exactly why Gaijin has done this. Players will now have access to an Abrams as their very first tank in the game if they're willing to shell out the money. It may not be the Abrams, but it's bloody well close enough. Now, I'm sure we all have our own opinions about what that will do to later tier gameplay, but let's not get salty, at least we'll have noobs to kill. I am seriously excited to try out the General Motors Xm1 on the dev server, which I'm hoping will be up within the next week, and I very much hope Gaijin will give me access to this vehicle to make content on for you guys. Oh, and if you're one of those crybabies that's pissed off because the Xm1 C isn't available to you on the PC and PS4, cough, Tiger Frost, grow up, calm your shit, and stop being such a princess. Well, I only get 2 Abrams. The GM tank is next to identical, so enough with your self-entitled bullshit. You're nearly as bad as all the crying Germans who shit-talk the P40F because you don't have your Leopard 2 yet. Wait your turn. Anyway lads, that is it for this video. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like and subscribe as there will be new content out on my channel every single day. Come join me over on Twitch, Twitter, Discord, all the rest, links below. Remember to come join this giveaway before it ends, and as always, I shall see you next video. Now, it's obvious that any rank 6 jet fighter aircraft would be armed with at least some form of air-to-air missiles, and likely travel at speeds of well over Mach 1. I managed to get the F-100 Super Sabre up to Mach 1.58 in testing, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that dogfights at these airspeeds without air-to-air missiles would simply not be practical. Add to that the fact that people have asked repeatedly for not just the F-100 Super Sabre to be added, along with its contemporaries of course, such as the MiG-19 bomber, but from Mach 2+.